Wow. Okay. Okay. So welcome everyone to this fantastic and interesting time. It's been a long time since our last webinar. I want to thank particularly our speaker that took out time out of his busy schedule to talk with us and give us this interesting talk on the topic career growth in academic. We have as our speaker Dr. Richard Joseph Kutshik. Dr. Richard is a biochemist who took interest in molecular cell biology. He has gained over the years techniques that enhance his research in the field of microbiology, molecular biology, cell biology, and biochemistry. Some of the techniques are fluorescent in situ hybridization, cloning, microbial culturing, and bioinformatics. His goal is to develop himself and others in the field of bioscience. He is currently the Assistant Director, Post Award, Office of Research and Development, with University of Jos. So we thank him for coming, and he would begin his talk now on career growth in academia. Prof, it's your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? I count it a privilege that I've been called to give a talk on this. This has been part of what we have been praying for. I will be able to have the opportunity to talk to one another on issues that affect our career growth. By the grace of God, I will take us through the slides and we will see what some of us think we should be doing as we get into the university. The truth is that we're different people, and different people have got different ways that they got into the system. And getting into the system, some is because they didn't get the job they want, and then they have someone that is a big man in the university and he gives them the job, and they're in. Some of us, we wanted the job, but the assumption we're having about the job outside the system is slightly different from what we have found ourselves in. And we are in, and now we have learned some things I want to share from it. First, I tried to check who is a lecturer. A higher education lecturer, worked for university teaching and researching specialist subject. That is why you get to the system, you will not find yourself going to teach history if you read biochemistry. So you have to go to teach biochemistry. And I'm trying to say, okay, just as a starting point, what are the work of a lecturer in the university? First, teaching. Second, research. Third, community development. Teaching, I said, is the most recognized duty of a lecturer. By who? Students, parents, and community. That is why when we're on strike, nobody cares whether you do any other thing. All they know is students are not in school, you are not working. If you continue with this only, you cannot grow in career as an academic. As we go on, we'll see more discussion. Research in Nigeria, very few recognized lecturers to be researchers. And that's one of the major truths. That is why, as I mentioned in the earlier statement, I said when we're on strike, nobody cares whether we're doing any other thing outside teaching the undergraduate that we're doing. So research is supposed to be one of our key items in our nature of work. If you do research, one very good important thing it will do to you is it will improve our teaching. and all of you can also attest to it, that what you are doing research on, the way you teach it is different from what you just read in textbooks. And then you come to teach. 3, meaningful research cannot be carried out without funding. The current Vice Chancellor, when we're discussing on grants, he now told us what his professor told him in the UK. He said, anybody that does research without funding is a hobby research. It's not a research, it's a hobby research. So, meaning that if you must do something meaningful in terms of research, you must get funding for it. Community development. Our community development comes from our expertise. Apart from that, there are other things you can be involved in that you can tag as your community development in the process of promotion. Member of Parents Teachers Association, football coach, member of church council, ESCO of cooperative, and many other things. I remember a colleague we met in the UK. When he came back and they said he should put something on community development, he wrote nothing. On getting to his HOD, he asked him, don't you have children? He said he has. Are you a member of their PTA? He said, yes, so put it there as your community development, of which I know we also know that. But our key item for career growth is on research. If we don't do research, our career will not grow the way we want it. I know a few of us, when we came in, there was one item that nobody told us. We were working very hard for the system. When it gets to promotion, they will ask you, do you have the required number of publications? And we don't have them. And then the slogan came, you publish or you perish. But you know, now a lot of us have keyed into that. And we are now publishing because we want to be promoted. We are now publishing because we want to get to that rank of a professor. But the key issue that we need to pick, that I want us to look at carefully, is getting funding. Our career, if we really want to grow the way we should grow, then we must get funding. For a meaningful research, we must get funding. As I said, there were 2 key things that were left that were not told. Publish. Later we got to know that. And then you have grown. Assuming you become a professor. If you become a professor, and then what? A professor that is professing almost nothing. Why? Because you grew with research that you are getting either from the meager salary that cannot take you home, or from your students' theses and dissertations. And you grow to be one of the key backgrounds that we can get this funding is that at the level we are now, we have to come to a point of understanding what is it that is needed from me to be able to get to that career that I intend to get to. Because what some of us have got to understand is, I have tried to make an attempt to apply for an NIH grant. And I discovered that my publications are not in line with what they are advertising. So at the moment, I'm trying to develop some publications in that line. Because if you need their money, you must show them what you are doing at the moment. So if you are able to understand that, yes, if I'm going to do a particular research that is in NIH, then I will have to be able to see all their topics and see whether my own research is in line with them. That's one. Two, where do you publish? Because whether we like it or not, I was discussing with someone and we're talking about the Asian journals. I said, yes, the Asian journals is not that they are bad, but the truth is that Asian don't give you money. The money comes from the Western world. So if we must key our research, then we must also target those journals in the Western world, so that when we want to look for their money, it will be easier for us to get. Be easier for us to get access into those monies because we have a research that is tallying with what they want. But that is funding on one side. Another funding is that there are also funding within Nigeria that you can also go for. Now, NRF, which is National Research Fund, is on. I know gone into that. And then we in Unijust, we're just picking up. That's the truth. We're just picking up. We have done so many trainings, but today is not for we are using it as a stepping stone. That's what we're using our National Research Fund for. Key into this funding opportunity and see how we can get it. Another line that a lot of us have always neglected is that some of us look at the amount you get for a particular research. No, even if it is $500, go for it. Even if it is $1,000, go for it. One day it will be written in your name that yes, you have fought for this funding and you get it. And then if you look at it carefully, I don't know if any of you have read the promotion guideline that NUC sent to universities as a minimum benchmark. You find out that funding now has come into it. Before you go to associate professor, you must show the grant you have gotten. Before you go to professor, you must show that, yes, you have gotten this number of grants. So if we can start fighting for the funding at this moment, our career growth. And why I'm emphasizing on this is because if you start getting this funding, your research will not only domicile within Nigeria. People outside will start seeing you. And by the time they start seeing you, that is when your own key will just click. And when it clicks, you travel in and out of this country. Because that's the kind of spirit some of us want for academic in Nigeria. I was telling someone today that truth, if we key into looking for grants and we get it, you prefer to remain in Nigeria than to go outside this country. And the reason is, I was telling him about someone that got an NIH grant, and you find out that in a month, he's being paid $1,000 as a stipend. They call it stipend. And he's getting that $1,000. If you convert it to Naira, how much is it? 1 million plus. If you are getting that, what will make you to start running out of this country? So our prayer, and we have discussed with our guest who has invited us here, and then we discovered that we are lacking in some of the information that we need to source for funding to be able to help us grow as academic in our own country. We'll develop our own country and we'll also develop ourselves. That same person now have moved his family to the US and he is in Nigeria, sourcing for his grant and he's making his money. So our growth will not just be that, yes, we're going to get money that will fund our research. It will expose us to the outside world. Apart from exposing us to the outside world, our country will also get to a point of knowing us because of whatever output you bringing out, the country will now know that, yes, we have someone like this in this country and in this university. And you raise the name of the university, apart from benefit that comes to you personally. So that's why I put here, I said, for a meaningful research, we need funding. So we can start now. If one is just doing master degree, let's look for funding for our master degree. When we get that funding, it will now help us know what we're doing. We'll be eager to do it. If we're doing PhD, we should look for funding for our PhD. You cannot run your PhD with your salary. And at the end, you tell us that you have done a meaningful research. We'll just find a way to patch you to get the PhD and go. But of the truth, if you have funding, there's a confidence that you have. And that is what we are also trying to do here in our chemistry department. One of our PhD students, before she finished, she got 3 grants that helps her in her work. And we're able to run whatever analysis we want to run. So if we're able to, if we key into this, it will help us to grow in our career. Our career, we cannot grow without funding. That's the key thing for our career growth. If we have that funding, no. Some people said the sky is our limit. That's a starting point. And I said, for those of us that already have PhD, we continue our future research. We will not want to do it with any of our salary. Even the salary now cannot take us home. But I know that if we key into looking for funding, we'll be able to enjoy our career as academic in the university. But it comes with a lot of sacrifice. That's what I have to say. So that's my talk for this evening. I will entertain questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That was interesting and although short. I want to have allow time for questions. I want to leave open question opportunity. So, because it's interesting, you brought up an interesting aspect of funding, and we know that that's something most people have as a problem. You publish, you get to be a professor, you just end at a professorial cadre and just be a professor. But we know that it's interesting that if you have something funding beyond your professorial cadre. So we want to allow for questions. I don't know if anybody has any question or comment so that before we continue, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof, for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm just thinking of this funding thing too. How to get access to it. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's my question.
Shall I note the questions and then answer them together or answer them as they come?
I don't know. Okay, we can if you have any question, you can. I don't know if anybody is not asking, you can answer the question.
Answer the question, yes. The funding opportunities, we have started something in Unijust, and then we are planning to have some of the seminars by February. I will let Nandi know so that he will inform you guys. At the moment, this year, we have done funding opportunities for NRF. We have done funding opportunities for NIH, which is the National Institute of Health. But that one is a little limited somehow for the health people. And then this, hopefully next year, what we want to do is to go for funding of the EU grants. We want to go into EU grants, NIH, and then the NRF again, so that our people will get to know that there are fundings that they can have access to. And then what we are also trying to do is that if you want to apply for a particular grant, we will look for someone that have enjoyed that particular grant to train you on how to put that proposal. We will not just go, we will not just tell you, oh, there's a funding opportunity here, go and apply. No, we're trying to see how we look for people that have enjoyed that particular grant to come and give you all the nitty-gritty of that grant, so that you'll be able to have, instead of losing at the first hand, it will be a little difficult. The chances of success will be higher. So there are so many funding opportunities out there. Even if you Google yourself, you'll be able to see them. But we want a situation where we will have funding opportunities that we have people that have enjoyed it. It helps in getting the grant easily than you just going on your own. You find out that you suffer a lot before you get the grant. I don't know if I've answered you.
Yeah, yes, I also think just to add to what Prof said, interestingly, about that same time next year, we'll be having our own first capacity training on NRF and the general grant writing workshop, which I had discussed with you earlier before now. So these are capacity development that we're going to be having the next, as soon as we resume next year, first quarter of next year, we'll be having a grant workshop. And we're hoping that in future, we also will subscribe to some grant databases. We're hoping that that can come to pass, where we would subscribe to some grant database and get people opportunities as it comes. But it's interesting to note that although university is a bigger university, we're going to be tapping more from that relationship, where if there are opportunities, we'll get people from the University of Joseph enjoy the same opportunity. We're going to learn from your wisdom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We are keen into this. There's this funding beeline. The host is in Kenya, and we have finished all the contract. What is left is for payment, and I know very soon we'll make that payment, and then we'll have access to almost all grants opportunities. So when we'll find a way to be sharing with your university so that we'll grow together.
Oh, fantastic.
Because of the truth, what we are talking about, we're also infant in it. We had old people that have done it, but there was no mentorship. So there's a big gap between them and us now.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Thank you very much for this fantastic opportunity. Okay, another question or comment?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Andy, and our speaker, Dr. Richard. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah, you're my organ. Yeah, in your presentation, you try to let us understand the issue of the bias of funders sometime, and equally encouraging us to have this research in a deeper way, that when we become higher in the career, become professor and professing nothing, as you may say. I want to just ask, how can we deal with this dilemma of he that pays the piper dictates the tune? Because I want to be a professor one day and I'm standing on something, I believe in something. So, and we're talking about funding now, and it's coming from somebody, and in some cases you see the funders trying or having their interest in a particular direction. How can we deal with that dilemma, please? Thank you.
Yes. How we'll be able to deal with that dilemma is what I mentioned, that you could see a grant, a funding opportunity, and then you are coming in for the first time. What we will do for you is to look for people that have enjoyed that same grant. Then they will show you the way through. Because if we leave you on your own, it is usually difficult. But if we have people that have enjoyed it, they will show you some nitty-gritties of applying for this grant, and it will be easier. And if you are not ready, just looking at your items, they will tell you, with this, I don't think you are ready to apply this now, but go and build up on this, then you come back next time. because most of the grants are yearly announced. So
Okay.
just looking at your data.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Are there other?
Yeah. Thank you.
Other question or comments? Jane, do you have any questions or comments? You can hear us. Ruth or Patience Ladan? I don't know. Does anyone have any question or comments? Interestingly, Dr. Richard and his team, they've been fortunate enough for funding. Recently, they have some funding, successful with funding. I know that going forward, we'll have a better. Oh, okay, okay. It seems we don't have. Okay. Saraki, you can go ahead, sir. Saraki.
So let me make some comment. Hello?
Saraki, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, the speaker and Dr. Nadi. Thank you for putting this up. And I really gleaned in a lot from the lecture. And I just want to perhaps suggest that maybe this should be more regular. And if you can, I don't know about University of Jos, perhaps you already have, but maybe on our own end, we may need to have like a small hub of people who are constantly, working on grant writing, even if we don't have a grant in mind that we are looking at. Maybe it will help us, because I realize that consistent writing improves someone. So rather than wait till there's a grant before we begin to apply and write for one, maybe it will be important, or it will be good if we can start like a mock, do like a mock grant writing. But I really learned a lot from all that you have said. Thank you very much. And I remember at another forum, someone said that those people who have money to give are sitting on a table sipping their tea and wondering, looking at these applications and say, this one doesn't qualify for me to give them my money. So by way of saying, the person was saying something like, for you to qualify for someone to give you his money, you have to convince them beyond reasonable doubt that you're worthy of their money. And so you have said that in another way. And also, I think that what stood out for me clearly was when you mentioned that to do a PhD work, you really need funding. I totally agree with you, sir. Thank you for bringing that up, because I was wondering myself, maybe I'm thinking well. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for pointing us in that direction, because initially I just thought that getting grant is just to do research for other publications and all of that, but talking about grant for PhD, I think it's good. Thank you so much, sir.
Just to add that even NRF, when they're going to advertise sometimes in January or early February, they always assume that you have a proposal handy. Then the call is for concept note. And they will expect that since you have your proposal handy, reduce that proposal to 1,500 words, because the concept note will take only 1,500 words. So they will expect that you reduce your own proposal that you have built with so many words to reduce it to 1,500. So if you don't have the proposal handy, you'll find out that putting up the concept note will take a lot of energy. So, but if you have your proposal handy is very important. I think what you just said, that putting the proposal down is good, as one big thing. Some of us are privileged. 2019, we got NRF. 2020, I was a co-researcher again in another one. 2021, I got to the final, but I failed that one. This 2023, that's the one they call 2022, we have gone for the final, we're waiting for the results. And I'm not just, I'm a PI in one, then I'm a co-PI in two. So we're expecting more people to go for writing. And as I said, since we're close, we will not leave you people behind if we're ready to work. And then one key thing to put again is it has to be multidisciplinary. You don't sit down alone and say you want to design work. When you have an idea, look at it in all facets and then get the team together so that you'll be able to put up a very good proposal. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Dr. Sari, could you have anything to say? Your answer. Your hand raised up. Sariki? Okay. If we don't have any other person to talk,
yeah, hello.
Larry, yes.
Yes, please. Good job, Dr. Richards. Well done. Just like Ladan said, it's possible for us to have some kind of hub or some kind of data archive where all this kind of webinars can be stored there, so that in the future you can make reference, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, Larry. Are you on a research platform?
Pardon?
You're on a research platform.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel which I posted last week of all the talks we've had. I don't know if you saw them. So we had this one will be on YouTube. We're going to post it. And in response to what Ladan said, I had earlier said that by next year, hopefully by February, we'll be having our first grant writing workshop where we'll discuss that with Dr. Richard and their team. We're going to be having a formal grant writing workshop, which is about 4 or 5 days, where people will be trained. Good thing, we're having some funding for such trainings now, thanks to the Vice Chancellor and the NRF, the IPR administrative charge that we put. So I'm trying to encourage us, when you hear, and this for the webinars, we took a break for a long time, but hopefully we'll be doing it every month. We hope to be doing it every month, different versions. Hopefully we hope you are going to attend. We're going to take a collation of what people want next year, so that we can begin to get good speakers from across the country. We're going to get people from the United States, people from Europe, people from other universities talk to us, but it's going to be a regular thing from next month. So I hope we would make ourselves available.
All right, that's nice. Thank you.
So I don't know, because of our time, if we want to call it a day. So we want to thank Dr. Richard for bringing us his Christmas time and sparing us time from his family to have this talk.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that there will be fruit from this. I never thought of thinking of writing, encouraging people to apply for fellowship, master's fellowship, PhD fellowship, and how to do that. You're opening our eyes to that option of encouraging people for that, and that's something I'm thinking that in future we're going to put together a team, a webinar for fellowships. I'm going to do that. I think hopefully that will be one of our first webinars. Apply for fellowships, PhD fellowships, and all of those things, so that people will know how to go about it and what to do about it. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for everybody that spared out of busy schedule in this Christmas. I hope we're going to have a Merry Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Really grateful.
Very
Thank
much,
you.
Prof. And Dr. Nande.